Hi guys, it's Alex or Gothic Fitness on Instagram, and I am fired up right now. So as you can tell from my lack of makeup and my hoodie and my caffeine that I'm drinking, I'm about to go to bed. I am just so fired up right now about a certain topic that I just was like, I gotta talk about this and get it out in a YouTube video while the fire's still burning. So that's what I want to talk about right now, is how crazy everybody is on the internet. So obviously you guys all know about the coronavirus and all of that that's going on, so that's adding to the craziness, but I'm not even going to talk about that right now. So if you guys follow any of my favorite people on YouTube, either Alan Roberts at Every Damn Day Fitness, there we go, Michelle McDaniel at My Thoughts Will Probably Offend You, Obese to Beast, Swolenormous, any of those people, like you've heard this kind of stuff before, and I'm just regurgitating it, but this is a personal experience that happened to me today, and I've seen this happen on the internet, but not like directly to me, and now that it happened directly to me, I'm even more pissed off about it. So I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about what happened and my thoughts about, what should be happening instead of what is going on. So basically, I'm a part of this group on Facebook. I'm not going to say the name of the group or anything because I don't want to like bash anybody or whatever. But in this group, somebody who is I don't even know the term. It was like an SSMD something. I don't know. I think it might be a sexual thing. But basically the SS stood for supersized. And this woman was probably BMI of over 40, and I know BMI isn't like the end all be all, but like she was morbidly obese from her picture, which is, whatever. So this woman posts a picture and says, who else like loves bigger ladies like me and like SS ladies like me. So other people are like commenting in the thread, and at first I went through the comments that were on there, which there were like 20, 30 comments, and everybody was being like super nice, super positive, and was like, oh my gosh, like you look beautiful, you look so great, or like posting pictures of themselves as bigger people, being like, oh I look like you, and you're so confident, that makes me feel confident, blah blah blah. And I think that's great, that's awesome. Like I love people loving each other and showing love for each other and supporting each other and feeling confident in their bodies, because I truly believe you have to feel confident in your body and love your body in order to be able, like truly love your body in order to be able to take care of it properly. If you hate your body and you're ashamed of your body and like you don't, like that leads you down to a path of not giving a shit about your body, and if you don't give a shit about your body, then you're not going to do the things that you need to do to make yourself healthy. So that all happened, which I didn't really think much about it. It was just like a thread on a group, whatever. Later today, somebody posted a thread, and this is where at first it gets annoying. It was a dude took a picture of a pretty famous Chinese bodybuilder, and I think the reason why she's like Insta famous, and I think the reason why she's so famous is because Chinese women are normally really small, really petite. That's like kind of the general what people think of when they think of Chinese women. They think of really small, and this girl is like huge, like super tall, just like built, like has like a figure like that, like broad shoulders, tiny waist, big old hips, abs, like the works. Like she looks like she's killing it. So somebody posted her picture, obviously without her consent, because she is a famous bodybuilder, and I understand when you put your images on the internet, like people can take them, whatever, but still that already made me feel a little weird. And then the question that this person asked was, what do you think about this girl? Like, what do you think about her body? So that already kind of pissed me off, because it's like different to put your own body out there, kind of like the plus size lady did, like being like, oh, what do you think about my body? Does anybody else, have a thing for bigger ladies? But for somebody else to put out a picture of somebody else's body and be like, what do you think about this? Like, I just think that's kind of rude and kind of weird, and it doesn't sit well with me. So that's already its own thing. Then in the comments, like 90%, I would say, of the comments were positive. They were like, oh man, like that girl's so hot, like, oh, I wish I had abs like her, like, oh man, she's killing it, like, oh, look at her thighs, oh, look at her butt, like all like super positive stuff. But again, kind of creepy because she didn't consent to putting her picture on this group. Again, So 10% of the comments, though, were not positive. 10% of the comments were things like, nah, bro, or no, fit chicks are hot, but not bodybuilders, or this chick looks like a man, or I don't like girls that do steroids, or, whatever. So that leads me to my anger. So I made a comment responding or just like in the thread, and basically said, hey, I saw a post in this same group this morning. I thought this was supposed to be a group that's like body positive and whatever. And in the post I saw this morning with the bigger lady, like all of those posts or all of those comments were super positive. I didn't see a single negative comment, and I looked at it, like one of my friends was like, oh, maybe the moderators deleted it, and I don't think so, because I looked at it from the very beginning and looked and saw all the comments in the beginning, and then after I went through this ordeal, I was going back and checking those comments, and they went from 20 or 30 comments when I first looked at it up to 460 comments, and not at one point in time I did not see a negative comment on that post. But now this bodybuilder post has been sitting there for hours, now 6 hours or whatever, and it still has these negative comments. And so the moderators, even if they did delete some off of the plus size girls post, they are not deleting the negative comments off of the bodybuilder post, which I don't think is fair. And so either way, it's they're either just being rude to the bodybuilding chick, or they're being, or the moderators are doing a better job policing the plus size girls post than the bodybuilding person's post. So I made a comment, said it wasn't cool that nobody was saying anything negative about this plus size post, but all these people were saying negative things about the bodybuilding post, and just that and I wasn't trying to say oh, it's not fair because they're not being mean and nobody's being mean to them. I don't want anybody to be mean to anybody, but what's not fair is that body positivity tends to get clumped into just fat positivity, just fat acceptance. It's not actually about being body positive to everybody across the board. People who are body positive, a lot of the times will look at women who are very thin and say, oh, she's too skinny, oh, she needs to eat a hamburger, whatever. And that's not where the movement started off. That's, kind of what it's evolved into. It's kind of evolved into this ugly thing. And unfortunately, when movements become really big, that tends to be what happens to movements. But so I made this comment and was just can we either have somebody delete those comments or whatever. And some girl who, from her profile picture, looked to be a little bit of a bigger girl, comments on it and says, what is your problem? Fat girls get negative criticism all the time. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. So, again, I am not going to particularly call people out in this, but if you'd like to see people that call people out, you can watch Swole Enormous or Alan Roberts or Michelle McDaniel. But there has been a few fat activists, people who are claiming to be part of the fat positivity movement, who have said that if you do not want to have sex with a fat person, then you are fat phobic. So if you do not want to have sex with a fat person, you are fat phobic. You are not being body positive. Okay, so if we're going to take that as fact, then these people are saying that they are not a fan of bodybuilding, or women that are muscular that have bodybuilding type bodies. They do not want to have sex with a bodybuilder. So now is that body shaming, and that's not body positive, and that's muscle phobic or bodybuilder phobia, or whatever? You cannot say in one breath that it's okay for people to have preferences, but then in the next have the same movement be saying, oh, but you have to want to have sex with a fat person or you're fat phobic. That does not make sense. Those two things are super hypocritical. And this is what I see over and over and over again. And Michelle McDaniel, my thoughts will probably offend you. I highly recommend her channel. She goes through that all the time. So she'll post something about a fat person who is a self-proclaimed fat person, having an opinion about something, and then she will make a reaction video to it. And these people will not even watch her videos. They won't watch them at all. They read the title, and they're normally kind of clickbaity, her titles are, and to get in those viewers. And then they will just go off on her, and then they'll tell these fat activist people will tell their followers to attack Michelle in their comments, and they will say oh, you look like a man, you're so buff, you have a jawline, are you sure that you, and then they'll like say things like, oh, you're transgender, like that's an insult. Insulting another group of people, saying you look transgender, like it's an insult to Michelle because they're mad at her for a video that they didn't even watch. And this is where the body positivity movement like makes me super mad, is because you have all of these people who are claiming to be body positive, and I'm not like, these are people that in their bio will say, I'm body positive, or like today are in a group that claims to be body positive, and then the first thing they will do is attack somebody's body, like when they're defending their own fatness. So if they're fat and they're defending their fatness, the first thing they're going to say is, oh, well, you're too muscular, or you're too skinny, or you need to eat a burger, or blah, blah, blah. And that's just so hypocritical. It's so stupid. So, bringing it all back around. Now, not everybody in the body positivity movement is like that. And I know that. And I know that not everybody who's a bodybuilder is super body positive, and a lot of people are rude and judgmental, and especially towards fat people. There's like a stigma attached to fat people that they are like lazy or, whatever. And that is not necessarily true. There are people on both sides of the spectrum that have stigmas against other people, like bodybuilders or stupid blockhead, like, only care about, like, very, very vain, only care about looks, and that fat people are like lazy and, like whatever. So, okay. Listen to me. In this group, in the plus size girls original post, I went back and looked at the comments because this other lady claimed that there were negative comments in there, so I just wanted to go peek. I scrolled through, which I have too much time on my hands apparently today because of the coronavirus self-quarantining. I scrolled through all 465 comments on this post. There was only one negative comment. And guess who that negative comment was from? From a body positivity supporter who was calling out all the small fats, saying that small fats should not be posting on this page because it is not for small fats, it's for supersized fats, and that if you are not a supersized fat, you shouldn't be taking attention away from the supersized fat people by promoting your own small fatness, and that is you being fat phobic by putting attention to your small fat body instead of the supersized fat bodies. People, I'm going to tell you a secret. Listen to me. People who are truly body positive, you love your body no matter what, because your body is important, because your body holds you. Your body is a vessel. Your body is, people will say all the time, Christians and not Christians will say, your body is a temple. Your body holds what's important, and that is you as a person. You are important. You are loved. You have talents and skills and abilities and all of these wonderful things that are inside you, and that's why your body is important. And that's why we want to take care of our body and make sure that we can live as long as we possibly can, so we can use our gifts and our talents and our abilities to help the world and help others and love each other and do all these things. So using words like small fat, like supersized fat, death fat, like those are all terms used by the fat acceptance movement. People who are like, oh, you're so skinny, you're a stick, you're a pole. People who are like, oh, you're so buff, and they knock you down to being only your value being what your body size is or your body type is. I am a bodybuilder because I enjoy the sport of bodybuilding. The sport of bodybuilding, the same way somebody would say I'm a basketball player or I'm a artist. I'm also an artist. I'm an artist. I'm a basketball player. I'm a dog trainer. I'm all of these different things. But what my body looks like is not what defines me. And all of these different groups, the body positivity movement being one of them, and the patriarchy being another big one, that are trying to define specifically women, but also other people, men as well, by their body type, and trying to divide us all into these groups and trying to make it so we can't relate to each other. Like, that's divisiveness. That is not unity. That is not love. That is not acceptance. That's not body positivity. Because the more you divide people and the more you try to say, like, oh, I'm different from this person or I'm different from this person, like, and every time I try to say that, like, you know, bodybuilders are body shamed, like, the first thing everyone says to me is, oh, well, fat people are shamed all the time. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I've been fat. Well, when I was a kid, I was super, super thin. I had people tell me all the time, oh, you're a beanpole, you're a beanpole. You know, and that wasn't necessarily body shaming, but it was classifying me into a specific, like, group. And then when I got fat, you know, I had people, you know, not really, I mean, I didn't even experience as much body shaming when I was fat as I do now, but I still had people, you know, say things about my weight, like, especially like family and stuff, like, would make comments about my weight, make me feel uncomfortable, you know, make me feel like I couldn't wear certain clothes, and a lot of it, more than people I actually knew, was like the media that made me feel that way. And now that I'm muscular and I'm a bodybuilder, you know, like, even today I had one of my family members be like, oh, you shouldn't lose any more weight. Like, if you lose any more weight, like, you don't have any more weight to lose. It's like, okay, well, first of all, you don't know how much I weigh. You don't know what my goals are. You don't understand the sport of bodybuilding. So you can't tell me that I shouldn't lose any more weight. Like, it's my body. It's none of your business. This is a lot. It's just coming up right now. But so I guess if I had to, like, I mean, we're at 16 minutes of me just, like, venting now, so that's cool. But if I had to say anything and kind of wrap us up here a little bit, what I would say is that, like, the most important thing that you can do is, like, live a healthy, happy life that you are taking care of yourself and you are taking care of other people. And judging other people by the way that they are taking care of themselves is not going to help. And like, you can spread facts and awareness about health without judging particular people. I was watching a specific episode of 600 Pound Life the other day, and one thing I really like about that show is that I feel like it does show very realistically the kind of side effects being morbidly obese can produce. But one of the girls, you know, her mom had surgery and didn't recover from the surgery very well, and her mom had to have a second surgery to, like, repair the first surgery. And then her dad, like, while her and her mom were in Houston getting both of their health stuff taken care of, they came home to find out that her father had passed away. And she literally just said, like, with everything going on right now, like, I have to take care of myself the best way I know how, and right now that's, like, talking to my therapist, you know, getting in a good mental space so I can take better care of my body. So not everybody's going to have the same path or the same, you know, way to health. Like, just, like, assuming that somebody should jump on a treadmill or, like, start lifting weights immediately or, you know, like, start eating a certain way. Like, that's not always doable for everyone in that specific situation. Everything is so unique. But what we can do is we can encourage each other, and we can show each other love and show each other respect no matter what our body types are. That way, when people are ready, they can make steps towards health. And that's really all I care about, and that's the reason I started this channel, why I started my Instagram account, is because I want people to know that even if you have mental health issues, even if you've experienced eating disorders, you know, all of these different things that, like, come up in your life, like, you can still work towards health at your own pace. And I want to kind of show people how I've been able to do that, to kind of be an inspiration to others, to allow them to know that there is a way for them to get healthy. Yeah, I don't know. It's not that hard to love other people and to show each other kindness and respect. But the longer I am here, the more I'm realizing that maybe it's harder for some people rather than others, because, like, for me, it's not hard. So yeah, I know I've said this already, but if I could leave you with anything, it's that I love you, you were loved, you were worthy, you have so many abilities and talents and skills that can help others and help the world. And I think in a time like this, especially with, like, all the coronavirus stuff, we need to band together and be a force of unity and good for this world and not divide each other even further. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for listening to my rant. And as always, live healthy, die happy, and leave a pretty corpse. Bye, guys.